we're back. Thank you for joining us here yet again on the Comic Culture Warrior video channel. Jose and I have been reviewing what has been a somewhat disappointing week.
It's very meh.
Very meh. It's a week of meh.
Yeah.
Especially considering the talent and really the high expectations we've had.
Makes me wish that we actually should have reviewed Agents of Atlas, because that was my favorite book this week.
Yeah, Agents of Atlas, we loved it. So we always love it. Yeah, we'll see what happens next. But another book that we really loved and is really taking off right now.
Like gangbusters.
Gangbusters. And we've talked about this. Chew by John Layman and Rob Guillory. We reviewed issue number 1 before, and I sang this book's praises. We both sang.
And actually, I was surprised about how many people in the comments were like, "Oh, really? I didn't even know about this. I want to pick it up. Pick it up. Good luck finding it, man." Second printing number 1 already came out. It's gone. Sold out.
It is, and
but Walking Dead number 63, I believe, it comes out when this goes up the following week. In that issue, Walking Dead number 63, I believe, July 14th is the day that it comes out. Image is going to keep the price the same, which is I think is $2.99 or $3.50, but they're going to reprint the entire first issue of Chew number 1 in the back. It's going to be a flip book. So you're going to get 2 comics for the price of 1. Sweet. So if you haven't been able to find the second printing of Chew number 1, since it's already sold out, pick up that Walking Dead, and then you get 2 fucking awesome comics for the price of 1.
Which is surprising that Chew and Walking Dead almost, they seem to walk similar lines. They both have to deal with dead, but...
Yeah, not to get too much into this. I mean, this, this is Chew's, first assignment.
Right.
Working for the FDA, and it's pretty cool, and... again, if you don't want to have your
appetite spoiled,
for McDonald's or any other fast food place, don't read this book, which is kind of funny. But no, the story again, it was just very well done, and the art of course is beautiful. The big thing though is this book. I kind of want to talk more about this than anything else. Is the book is becoming this sleeper hit.
Yes.
Of the summer, and it totally has. I mean, again, it's already been through 2 printings. It's going to be printed again in Walking Dead. Mm-hmm. The second issue is already sold out from Image. The second issue was sold out before it even shipped.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah,
and there
and eBay first printings of number 1 are going for $60.
And it's funny because it's not like Image did this huge publicity campaign trying to shove it down people's throats.
Right.
I mean, again, a lot of folks commented on the boards. I never even heard of this book before.
Right.
It's one of those books where really the word of mouth is getting folks to pick up the book.
And I'll tell you one thing.
If you can find it.
We did when we got number 1 here. I didn't pick it up, but you had gotten in advance. You were able to read it in advance, the first 2 issues, and you happened to mention it in an email. And when it came out, I'm like, oh yeah, Elliot mentioned this. If you didn't mention it to me, I probably wouldn't have bought it.
No.
But now that we're mentioning it to everyone, it's a word of mouth thing.
Right.
It's
snowballing that way.
Yeah, and it's awesome. I wish more books would do it, but for some reason, it's working with Chew.
Right. No, especially, and I think Chew is one of those books where it's just right place, right time.
Yeah.
That's why it's taking off like it is. If this book happens in a few months from now, maybe it doesn't take off. If it happens too soon, it doesn't take off. The time is just right for something like this, especially when you have this whole atmosphere of, the big 2 are hammering you with event book after event and buying all these tie-ins. And some folks, even on our boards, have commented they're going to the indies now. They're going to the independent readers or independent publishers to get something from there. If you want a really good, entertaining book that's not going to tax you, choose the book. I mean, it's a $2.99 book.
Yeah. So is this. This came out this week.
The Sword.
Awesome. It's
another book that we've talked about.
We're not going to review it, but
it.
When you go look for Chew, buy the first 2 volumes of The Sword if you want to just get something different. And that's what I think. That's when we were talking about last week, in the last 2 weeks, about how there's so much shit coming out from Marvel, and I think people are just getting sick of it.
Yeah.
And there are alternatives. DC's putting out some decent, almost all the Batman books just feel fresh again. And they feel really good. And
you know what's? I'm sorry about the Batman books. You don't feel like you have to read every Batman book to get the whole story. They're making them. They're letting them stand on their own.
Exactly, which is good. Which is the way they should be, and I think that's why it's working really well.
Mm-hmm.
Even detective. I mean, yeah, it's the same detective as the same numbering, but it's a new introduction to a character. Even the Batman story that Judd Winnick wrote just felt new and fresh, even though it's just in the monthly Batman book.
Right.
Whoever's editing those books, that family of books, is just doing an awesome job.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, so there's good stuff like that for coming out from DC.
Image is doing great stuff. I know someone, I think it was Johnny Horror, really enjoyed Freddy versus Jason versus Ash from Dynamite, the sequel, the Nightmare Warriors, which I haven't had a chance to read yet, unfortunately. But it looks like a really interesting concept from what I've seen flipping through it. The military is dealing with dream technology and pulling Freddy Krueger in as part of a military project. That's intriguing.
And again, just to touch on this, I guess this is going to be just a smattering of mini reviews. I didn't get to read this, but Vertigo yet again came out with another #1 book for $1 called Greek Street. Pete Milligan is writing it. The art was really nice. It's bringing Greek tragedies and mythology into modern day settings.
Right.
So the stories are similar somewhat, but again, for $1, just try something new, man. If your shop still has a Greek Street #1, if you like Unwritten, completely different book than the Unwritten. But again,
Unwritten I really enjoyed. Yeah.
But again, there's other options out there.
There's a lot of stuff out there. Yeah. So Chew is just one of many different options. This is a book that you're really going to enjoy if you can find it.
Yeah.
All right. When we come back, we will...
Our first, well, not really first Star Wars review, but first issue.
Our first floppy Star Wars review, for those of you who've been asking us to review Star Wars. We'll see you then.